To this tale of disruption.
I'm married to the money, I'm married to the beat. It be tapping me on my shoulder, waking me up, I'm asleep. Just up, late night. Got so much on my mind. You know what I mean? This evening's performance, can we talk about it? Will be brought to you by Old Pain. Cause you know it all still feels the same. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Humanist nightmare fuel spirit stream, marking a week that is particularly significant to a lot of people. Well, in these particular spaces of awareness. Shadows. And awareness of the moments before death. Vibrant expression, final expression of beauty and verb before collapsing into winter. What's your understanding of how we
Can I address this tightness in my chest, bitch? Yeah, it get worse and worse the more that you press it. And every year, the visions get clearer. We far too blind to see ourselves in the mirror. East to west, still measured out the same. It's who gets the best and it's who gets the blame.
this time leading into Halloween should be celebrated with so much more attention. Especially adult attention in terms of what Halloween represents. What's your understanding of Halloween?
Need to ask you
traditional. I did grow up but in a Christian home. Although it was tricky kind of here. I always have been invigorated in this time of year. So when I was an adult, I started to look into why I was so fascinated with all these quote unquote morbid, like things. That's how my I was really just looking to see like what resonates with me. I knew there was a specific thing I was looking for, but I couldn't call it. And it was actually travel. Very pagan. No wonder I didn't know what palaces were. But I always knew I wasn't a very good Christian. Both of those terms for me, the expectations were too high. And, like it was like not what I was willing to give. That's not how I translated life. I very much resonate with the thinning of the veil. It means different things to different people, or may not mean anything to some people. And for me, it explains why sometimes it feels like I'm acting in a way that is beyond myself. Felt at times like I had no control. And when I began to study and understand how indigenous people all over the world understood about the will of the year, about the time, and how to really get the most out of an entire year. Really, very intelligent, day-to-day living type stuff. Intelligent, day-to-day living type stuff that was really just
things that exist in the shadows. Ghosts.
Microphone check this. I'm no professor. I'm not here to lecture. I see the tracker. Wake up here, checker. I'm super black, so I'm not here to black. No, here we confess this. I need to write it down. That's how a cloud dance and tether to the ground.
Again, folks, remember, the humanistic charge of work that we do is founded upon the practice of our work in community with people, behavioral and developmental pathways relative to human beings. Another way of saying it is the stories that human beings live out in order to create the meaning that we need. We're these odd creatures on this planet which somehow need to matter. Massive universe in which things so beyond our scope of understanding in terms of how their size, they just come and go. And we, which are less than blips on a noise-filled TV screen, we just need to matter in ways that I don't think the earth can contain. Social, emotional, mental well-being, and we want to explore those things in terms of ghosts, which we will frame for the purposes of this stream as embodiments of our human suffering, our pain. That pain, it doesn't just reside in individuals, it resides in families, it resides in communities, it resides in places that are marked by terrible things, terrible suffering, terrible oppression, terrible death, terrible such a thing that they manufacture. An egregore is a group thought form. It can be created either intentionally or unintentionally and becomes an autonomous entity with the power to influence. A group egregore is the distinctive energy of a specific group of magicians who are working together, creating and building the same thought form or energy. Indigenous peoples, which had power in two specific things: their connection to the natural world and their connection to each other. There's definitely communities, groups of people, and how they relate to the natural world that can be utterly batshit crazy, right? But then there's activists, community organizers, social scientists, people like us who engage in community connection in order to heal, empower, address very specific political and policy-based issues like housing, like food security, incarceration and its continued curse upon this country. We create egregores as well, because we focus our will and attention into something. It could be a court case where we want to help clarify the narrative that is being occulted. Because it's basically every position of power: defense, prosecution, and judge, and ambulance, and stenographer. Are all white, and every person on trial in that criminal court is black, and some brown. They're mostly black. We create egregores as well, and it's important to understand that because we want to explore where very negative egregores may be created. has a name and has a more current growing understanding rather than when we were younger. Because I too was thrown about in different directions. My mom hated me. My father was education Catholic. Terrible racism. I'm not talking Catholic like cute schoolgirl Catholic. I'm talking nuns, ruler, guilt and sin. We create these egregores in Christianity. It's there in Judaism, there's aspects of this in Islam. It's not there in like Buddhism. Buddhism is your own work.
So that was my next experience. Years and years and years, and I had to, what I had to make a choice of like, what am I doing? So I went on this whole journey, and I did meet someone.
Was it Jesus?
I was just expressing this person. Like, this was a person that was like, you're here in my office saying all these things, and I know that it's synchronous.
You were expressing struggles. And they said to you that possibly this egregore based on sin that you had created in your youth was the source of trauma. important.
Yeah.
Because the greatest expression that I can think of equity, and there's been madness around this because people will say, you know, there are so many worse things like cults and such things, but really it is organized political philosophy or organized religion that presents these solid yet real understandings, right? That you can't really touch them, you can't really grab hold of something because it's not legally there, it's not your electric bill, it's not, it's just, it is something like white people will always be in control, or you are flawed, broken, and useless, except if you prostrate yourself and give yourself to a God for whom nothing will ever be enough. And when those egregores exist, they then, you know, manifest in cult leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, basically anyone who wants to control, subjugate, oppress, manipulate a whole shit ton of people. And Buddhism is a release from the path of essentially what is it that we talk about authority dependence. Like
The responsibility was on
master
you.
principle, yeah, like, you know, slave master, whoever it is. And that is what those egregores provide. It provides certain people authority. And what authority does to people is horrible. Right? Almost to the extent that authority shouldn't fucking exist. But that would really be seen as like a very, you know, anarchic, like, viewpoint. It's not that. It's, in this context, better. It becomes a more equitable, community-based, groundswell, organic development of real egregores. Like, you know, just a shared understanding of how shit should be. Not something that this fucking guy said here because he wants to manipulate and control everyone. There. That's gonna be the price. And you know what you need to do? Like, stop this thing. There are people who are going to be talking about horrible things that, you know, shouldn't be there, but you can't not talk about those horrible things in an analytical way. You have to talk about like things like suicide, like pedophilia, like all of these types of things, not because we are crazy, you know, conspiracy theorists, but because those things these things isn't immediately a sociopath or a psychopath or some pathological diagnosis of a person. Many people aren't. Many people just do that because they believe a narrative in which, or they come to believe a narrative that they told themselves in which this is somehow a good or a caring or a protective or any number of things. Terrible. Demons, one would say. Demons that fill our minds in this way. So here's the connection. There is an egregore in the space of Pentecostal, charismatic Christianity. These people aren't crazy. These people aren't idiots. These people aren't sheep. These people infuse so much of their energy and their consciousness into the egregore of, like, the God that is connected to them. They can feel that. Many other people can't feel, like, they're just like God, right? But these people want to feel. And they go every Sunday, every Thursday night, every Wednesday morning to different things in order to feel shaking and glossolalia. But that's the thing. They want to do it. It feels great. It's like a drug. And that is an egregore. That involvement, that belonging, you're special, the Spirit of God. They want that. And this
And I will also say, you can get the same types of amazing results from that experience.
yeah, man.
This is also the things that were way when there was a very Christian cleansing of the world. It becomes like you can't just get this in your home. You can need this type of experience for yourself and be still like accepted by nature and by God or a bigger entity than yourself, a bigger part of life than yourself. What was different for me and what I've studied is that the dance that was used for like real world stuff.
It's all you can't say there is a real world application because these people who fall on the stage being swept down by the Holy Spirit are the people who run CF, the county jail, the grocery store, and wherever else. And they apply themselves to the real world, but that real world is awful. That's why this humanist nightmare is because the real world, we keep as though it's something over there and that we can get to. What is real? It is all of these people who do this, including the voodoo practitioners, including the head witches like you. We all exist in the same town, right? And we all create the reality, the reality. Unfortunately, many of these people are people in charge. So they create policy and legislative reality for us, which suck, like not being able to get abortions, right? They created that reality because the person who's kicking their ass down on the stage said abortions are wrong. And so that God, that thing that people have created, is informing our real world. So what's real? We don't have abortions, and women are becoming increasingly more subjugated. You know, the feminist empowerment arc has started to decline because people are starting to put women back somewhere that they want them to be. And you know what will come next? Open. I mean, why do I say next? Why am I going to say come next? We already have in the form of incarceration, legal slavery. So I was going to say slavery will come next. It's already here. So the idea that I'm going to is it's all the same thing. We create these egregores of the future, putting our intention that way. But circling back to our spirits, we create the egregores of the past, which are ghosts. They're just, they are still, maybe they were shut down, killed, running this orphanage, and they're just there. They don't look like they're, they look like they're there because they're just continuing to do the work that they couldn't finish their job.
That was an intentional ritual that they did every single day while they tending to the kids. And they're like, we're on this rule. Like, this is our intention for life.
Right. So we're bringing this stuff up, not just to excuse yourself, but the idea that the exports of our past are usually, when these things manifest, some pain, some loss, and it's very different. And it is said that such things, spirits are unacceptable. They have not finished their task. They cannot mean, I don't want these creepy ass things hovering above me. I don't know why it is. Why do these creepy ass white girls always be the home? Look at that. Look at her.
I was thinking about like the duality.
Do you think white women ghosts look like this because they're so angry, right? They're so angry. Do you think it's because of the promise that their fathers, daddies gave them about being a white woman, a pretty white woman, weren't fulfilled? Like that, they realized that most of the world isn't like that. Like at best, they became Karens, and they want people because they're that angry.
Okay, no. No, let's just be real. If a bitch is looking that mad, I'm sorry. If a person is looking that angry, I feel like you guys, it's because of daddy issues. Like, bro, it's a little bit different than like the promises of a beautiful white woman. That woman is after. It's like the huge promise.
But there's daddy trauma, man. Look at
Yeah,
it.
but it's not just a promise. Sometimes in this world, people not only promise you things, but they promise you things with the intention to take from you, even before that promise is fulfilled. So that's probably what really happened. It was like deep trauma, but she was like, but at least I'm gonna grow up to. And then she was like, what? This is some motherfucking bullshit.
What is this? What is the bullshit that they grow up to become vengeful ghosts because it was not fulfilled?
I think this is the role. The promise of like your role will provide you this and everything. And it's not even that the promise of what your role will or will not provide you, although that can be a part of it. Maybe that was, like, bro, it didn't give me, that wasn't fulfilled. But maybe what was promised was fulfilled. But then, like your feelings, like what you were raised to believe about your feelings about this fulfilled promise, like maybe that was just not a thing. Like, I actually don't feel that way about all these promises being fulfilled. I think this is horrid. I don't want any parts of this really, but I'm put into this life that I've been sold for since before I can make sense of anything.
Isn't that women in general?
Yeah, pretty much. Really, hey, I'm a human first, like really feel.
So why aren't there angry black ghosts?
First off, I'm pretty sure there are.
Let's see. Why aren't there
I'm pretty sure there are lots of
angry black ghosts?
angry black.
Look at this. Angry black ghosts is this?
Angry black lady.
address this tightness in my chest, bitch. Yeah, it get worse and worse the more that you press it. And every year, the visions get clearer. We far too blind to see ourselves in the mirror. East to west, still measured up the same. That's who gets the best and that's who gets the blame. I'm not insane. I'm just here cause I always pay. Can we confess it? Microphone check it. I'm no professor, I'm not here to lecture. I need a checkup, Wikipedia checker. I'm too perplexed, so I'm not here to flex, no. Can we confess it? I need to write it down. That's how a cloud is, it tethers to the ground. My negativity be pulling me down, but left foot, right foot, forward bound.
It's not even that the promise of what your role will or will not provide you, but maybe what was promised was fulfilled, but then like your feelings, like what you were raised to believe about your feelings about this fulfilled promise, like maybe that was just not a thing. Like I actually don't feel that way about all these promises being fulfilled. I think this is horrid. I don't want any parts of this really, but I'm hooked into this life that I've been sold for since before I could make sense of anything.
Isn't that women in general? Let's kind of focus back in on the idea of how ghosts in general tend to form for people, right? There's a particular passage I wanted to kind of start with, right? And this is that idea of the power, right? This is from the Telltale Heart, Edgar Allan Poe. Right? And there's a passage from that really shows what this is. So I'm going to read this. It's going to take a couple of minutes, right? So let's go with this. Presently, I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or of grief. Oh no, it was the low, stifling sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. Well, think about that, right? Overcharged with awe. This is where we're beginning. This is the development of the idea, even on a personal level. But it's never personal because it exists all around us, in the newest, in our collective consciousness. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just as midnight, when all the world slept, it was welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo, the terrors that distracted me. I said, I knew it well. Now, the narrator is saying the same thing. He's relating to this particular idea that is shared with this individual that he's talking about. I knew what the old man felt and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise when he had turned in the bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. Listen how well he describes the old man's issues, the old man's emotions in the moment, the old man's fears, apprehensions, everything that's growing in him. He knows that so well because he has experienced it also. This is their shared lived experience, right? His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself, "It is nothing but it is only a mouse crossing the floor, or it is merely a cricket which has made a single chirp." Yes, he has been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head in the room. Can we feel that coming? Is that a particular thing? You know, recently, my grandmother, my mother's mother, passed, and it was a very difficult passage because she suffered from severe cognitive decline, right? Diagnosed dementia, but also we believe, we don't know yet in terms of the long effects of COVID. She had gotten COVID early in its time in the US in March 2020. And she then recovered incredibly. She was a 90-something-year-old woman, and she recovered incredibly. And basically, she was okay for a while, but she began more and more to decline, and then she experienced a stroke. And she experienced that stroke, and we think that precipitated a severe cognitive decline to follow in the next couple of years, less than, and then she passed. And when I was there with her in the hospital, whether it was the ICU unit, the critical care unit, the stroke unit, the cardiac unit, the neurology unit, all these units where people were essentially dying slowly. And my grandmother was going that way. And there were some moments where she was profoundly agitated and fearful in her perception of what she was seeing, right? Like he said here. And it was the mournful influence of an unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence, right? She was feeling certain presences, certain that were totally otherworldly, because she was recognizing deities in Hindu mythology. Lord Shiva, right here, right, all in vain, because death had approached him, had stalked with his black shadow before him, and enveloped the victim. My grandmother was enveloped with that experience, and there were certain moments where she had joy in seeing certain people that had gone before her. Unfortunately, tragically, her son, she said she saw him. He's asking me to come. And in that moment I said, go. Right? I mean, go, because that time will come, and I'd rather she go with that. But she experienced this. And yet, I didn't know that experience. It's like the narrator here shares this experience with the old man. But maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. I do. People come to me in lucid moments in dreaming. Messages come. Seeing happens. All that stuff happens.
Yeah.
So is it the same? Is it similar? I don't know.
I would say what brings to mind is just reading, you know, like from and listening and thinking about my own connection to this, you know, experience. I think would be when I was in the hospital. I know, right? It's always a story with Nadine. Listen, but I was in the hospital at a specific time. I was in the hospital after I had tried to take my own life. Just being completely authentic. So it was. I really only say that to give you the horror of waking up after the intention of trying to end your life.
Oh my God, I never thought of it that way.
With two small children, you know, and realizing how, you know, like my oldest daughter was 18 months, so like she came down every morning to greet me, like I was the face that she saw. Like that's when I sat in the bed, like that's the first thing she saw when she came into our room. She asked for several days where I was, and that is the first thing that my husband at the time, you know, told me, and that's the reality that I woke up to. Like that whole thing did not work, but like I woke up to how much would have affected the events of the future, you know, the future that I brought here, like, into this world, you know, and even I fully after that began, but before all of the reality set in, like, I still had 2 more nights in the hospital, and I have to sleep, you know, like, I had a sitter with me, like, and, like, they want you to, like, you know, behave normally, like, show us that you're trying, like, be normal again. I wasn't because in the wall when I was processing in my dreams, I think there was there was meaning for me to make there, but there was unresolved things for certain. But the dreams that I had were I was full of so much guilt in it, and I didn't really have a space for that. But beyond all of that, not only in my dreams. Dreams is one thing, okay? So I didn't want to go to sleep. But then, whatever. But like even in the walls, I see and hear like, and it felt like people are trying to get me and like take me, you know, that time in my life. Like they're gonna drag me to hell. Because it's not something I can ignore and be like, okay, it didn't really happen. It did.
I mean, that's the big sin, right? Suicide is the big sin. Christianity, yeah, but I'm saying Christianity really demonizes that experience. And that egregore in your head during a time of severe trauma can create those demons that are pulling us into dark places.
awake was too much. And like, bro, like, what do I do? I couldn't really act normal. I wasn't. But since I've had time and years to like really make me, as my oldest daughter is 15 now, so like I've had many years to make meaning of it, and because of all the dreams that I had that are so vivid, even the pictures of different. I'm talking about it was the different types of people that I've never seen before. I mean, you can, of course, like it can be rationalized, but even beyond the rational and the irrational of it all, right? Because there's both. Beyond that, the meaning that I can now see is just even beyond myself and my own beliefs. Like there was all of this weight, part of the weight that I think I was feeling within my own human existence, and like just the life that I lived, the weight that the death that I owed, I think, to life. Really, it weighed heavily on there, and it took me a long time to draw that meaning because I didn't have the ability to do that then, because I made sense of everything else that was just guilt, that was just like conditioning, that was just, but there was still something bigger than myself in the room with me when I woke up, once I really had some sort of reset, even as horrible as that is, with the meaning that I can draw from that is like my whole thing, and it's not the same for everyone, but I got smacked in the face with my responsibility once I woke up.
And you do know that what the author, the narrator says, I knew the sounds that many a night, just at midnight when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo the terrors that distracted me.
I know.
Perhaps then there is another way to exercise these ghosts, to banish them from all the places they reside within us. And ultimately, the ghosts that reside within us sometimes can also be projected onto other people, be projected onto other places, songs, experiences, whatever the case is. And perhaps that then is the beginning of the idea of haunting. Right, the ghosts that haunt us. I certainly feel haunted by the people and faces that represent some very terrible decisions I made in life. The ghosts.
Like realizing, I'm imagining that all these feelings that I'm having is the experience that my child's having. But that's not the case. I'm having these feelings because, and I'm projecting them, onto them. Their experience is another one, and we can make meaning around that. Like, what that experience is together, but not if I'm projecting my feelings on that. I have to accept that these are my feelings. My feelings are still.
We address all the toxicity. That's what the people of the earth really need. Plus helping hands to address all the need. Let's come together, call it humanity. Can we address all the toxicity? That's what the people of the earth really need. Plus helping hands to address all the need. Let's come together, call it humanity. Can we address all the toxicity? That's what the people of the earth really need. Plus helping hands to address all the need. Let's come together, call it humanity. Can we address all the toxicity? That's what the people of the earth really need. Plus helping hands to address all the need. Let's come together, call it humanity.
So that was a ghost that I felt.
And that goes into another aspect of a lot of this kind of ghostly horror type narrative, which is the generational curse.
Yes.
For me, losing my father, my mother losing her mother, those were two significant things in both our lives. Like we both chose to make meaning around those things. About receiving the gifts that they left us with, rather than being cursed by the regrets. Maybe this is a good moment to do this, right? I want to share this with you and with others, right? This is what I wrote and read at my father's eulogy when I eulogized him. There's more that I said, but I read this is my father's death narrative, right? And I got that idea from the Jesus, the Japanese death narrative. Jisei is the farewell poem to life, and this is one of them. I provide to you in order for me to not be trapped and imprisoned by my father's ghost in many different ways. Like the fear of being like my father, but not the best, the worst, the one that was abusive, hard to live with, and sometimes unforgivable. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to become that. Like to become the, hey, I'm the lion curse, like of the next generation, and that's my own son. This was my to accept what I want to accept, to release what I want to release. And it begins. How does a son remember his father in ways so distinct from a wife, a brother, a friend? When I remember him, I remember a mountain, I remember a myth, I remember his hard ways, and I remember his secret compassion. I remember myself. This is the gift he gave me, the gift of self-remembrance, living behind the veil of simple life. I saw him as he wanted me to, innocuous, a known commodity, but his hard exterior was a shield and test, a challenge to all who entered his space, as he measured the integrity of their approach. Like the awakening stick used by the hard masters, his ways of doing were intended to remedy lapses in concentration. His gruff growl so effectively remarking on life's many futilities. He was living, breathing duality, chastising the undisciplined, while secretly guiding a select few through their darkest moments. I saw both the fire and the warmth in his eyes, sitting vigil from his favorite perch at the kitchen table, strategic views maintaining watch over his prized domain. But we are only just scratching the surface of this understanding. This man, my father, a keen student of human nature, from a culture of reserve, measured human discipline. Through such a lens, he saw the human condition in its purest form.
What is it called?
Jesus.
The Jesus. Yeah, and it is a way of releasing that hold, that the thing that tethers you to this ghost. Yeah, you ready?
Pull that mic up.
This was long after my father had passed, and like I don't think I ever really addressed it in a a real way before this time. Before I knew you had left me, and before I thought to accuse you of abandoning me, you had gone farther still. When I tried to speak your name, I could not say the word without choking. I searched for you, but my eyes were closed. I reached for you, but you stood back and let me stumble. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I said to myself when I focused on you. By the time I thought to let go of my anger, it was too late to hear your words. I wanted so desperately to be encompassed in your world. I couldn't see how it might be poisoned. Friend or foe, I would know you if I could, and look for the little pieces of you in me. On the journey to you, I found more tangible beings, but they never quenched my hunger for your elusive self. I found solace in blaming them for your mistakes.
They married to the money, I'm married to the beat. It be tapping me on my shoulder, waking me up, I'm asleep.